Hello to all our friends. Welcome to Rad Pod and Chill. Gee whiz, it's nice to see everybody. I'm Heidi. We got Jim Stewartson, High Fidelity, Sean Connor. I have breaking news. My nails are actually done. So I have nothing to do with my OCD right now, other than try
That's
to
why we're on
relax.
time, by the way, in case anyone was curious.
Usually I'm like painting and listening at the same time, but there's something very soothing about that. Um,
Pardon me.
I'm so happy to see you fellas, and I just finished listening to Jim's new online, I'm going to call it a radio show slash interview, where he interviewed Hi Fi for an hour, and it was
Oh, crazy.
excellent. It was excellent. Yeah. I encourage everyone who subscribes to Jim's Substack and supports his work to take a listen to it because I thought it was really important. Um, wow, there's so
Thank you.
much breaking news, but I feel like we just
Do
need
we have
like a moment
crowd
of
sounds
zen.
now? Or am I?
What's
Yeah.
that?
Yeah, we got some sound
We had
effects.
crowd sounds.
I'm gonna try and be judicious with them, but I might be tempted. We got crowd sound.
Oh no, we have.
What the hell am I hearing?
What I
I
would
don't
like
think
right
I
now
don't
is
think I heard the
Connor to
sound
do
effect.
something to distract us so we can have a zen moment. Do you have anything you can do? You were just showing us something a minute ago that's zen for some people.
Which one?
I don't know. You had something coming out of your mouth, it looked like. Oh, that sounded terrible.
Jesus.
Damn, Heidi.
Where'd it go?
Yeah, there.
Oh, that's nice. Where'd you get that? Oh, look, I got one too.
I wonder if as a sober woman, if I could smoke a faux blunt.
I gotta fit in.
I just smoke my pens.
I gotta fit in with you guys.
Yeah, I actually had a geometry teacher who chain smoked, so he smoked chalk for the whole hour, and so this is my homage to him. So much breaking
I'm
news.
so old that my driver's ed teacher used to just smoke in class.
Oh my God.
Oh
Like,
my God.
we'd be in those. I don't know. Like you have to be old to remember this shit. But they used to have these little like simulators that you would have, and I wasn't in like a fancy school either. It was like you drive these little simulators, and they'd have a movie with like disgusting accident crashes and shit, and
Blood on the
you were supposed to
windshield.
faux drive. It was
Yeah.
crazy. And I had a teacher, and his son got arrested for or went to jail for drug smuggling, and Mr. D used to drink his ass off and smoke cigarettes the entire time.
Yeah.
That's my story about high school in the 80s. Thank you very much.
I just realized that Marilyn is smoking a blunt on my shoulder. But I love this image of her because she's just so peaceful because she's high and she wasn't dolled up for the cameras. I do want to, okay, well, first of all, this is Rad Pod and Chill. We are going to be doing a recap of episode 16 with Christopher Boozy. We'll have a little bit of that. He was dope as shit. Oh my God. So much good stuff. I learned so much. I've been following up on so many of his leads. I've been an investigating fiend. But I want to break a couple little bits of good news.
Good.
I'm a huge Kim Campbell fan. She was a Prime Minister of Canada. And in 2016, because I'm a fan of her husband's, Hershey Felder, who is a Broadway performer. He does a one-man Gershwin show, a one-man Irving Berlin show. If you know anything about me, The Sun and the Moon and the Stars, falls on Irving Berlin and the Fred Astaire's of the world. I had just seen a Hershey Felder show at the Geffen, and I was interviewing him, and then he told me who his wife was. And he said, you might want to see a clip that she just did as she was being interviewed about the 2016 election. And she was the first person I ever heard put these words together, that Trump was using the vocabulary of misogyny as he was out campaigning. That was a game changer for me. Everything clicked. I knew I was uncomfortable. I knew he was a fraud. I'd investigated him on and off for 20 years. He was a pyramid schemer, Ponzi schemer, perpy, weird guy. That changed everything for me, and I just, got right into battle. She found me today on Twitter on an
Sure
old
did.
2019 thread that I called Malignant Whispers. And Malignant Whispers was about the misogynistic, divisive cruelty of the militarized weaponry of Russian botnets and by the GOP oily disinfo machine. It's a cool old thread, but I what it's inspired the thread was I had dealt with a lot of attacks in 2018 when I was working on a congressional campaign, but somebody fucking called me a cupcake. And I was tired and I'd been working so hard. And someone was just like, like piss off cupcake or whatever. And I was on the metro and I just started threading that thread. But A. Kim Campbell saw it today and said, good thread.
Good thread.
Today happens to be her birthday, which
Who
is
the
really
who the
cool.
fuck
Happy
who
birthday
calls
to
anyone a
you.
cupcake? What the fuck? What century are you in, motherfucker?
I would say
I
somebody
call my
who's,
friends cupcakes, but only when I'm making
Well,
fun of them.
sure, but but
think
not
about
a
it.
stranger on the fucking no.
Yeah, that's
Well,
fucking rude, man. Don't do that shit in public.
Awful.
I'll tell you who calls people cupcakes. People who do not speak English as a first language. I have been, since Boozy and since our previous guest and our one before that, I've been up 2 a.m. every single night investigating the shit out of the vast underground troll economy. When it started, what people get paid, what they pay in different countries. The thing I discovered last night, which blew me away, in 1998, the Russian people online were democratic. They were posting all about liberal democracy and in support of it. What happened just a couple years later? The Russian state got involved with online posting
That's
and
right.
they steered everybody toward authoritarianism. So the Russian people for 2 decades have been the target of their own state and their own military's psyop against them. So
That's
they
so
were,
important.
it's so
Like that
important.
we have to understand that the Russian propaganda came
Sorry,
from
Sean.
fucking Russia.
Yeah.
Like there's a reason it's called Russian propaganda. It's because it's been deployed against the
Yeah.
Russians for
Yeah.
100 years, as much
Well,
in
yeah.
different forms,
Yeah.
but it and by Russian propaganda I mean anti-Semitic fascist state propaganda,
Yeah.
right? And it's been around for a long time,
They
and
use their
and we got
own
to realize,
people as target practice first, Jim, and then they
damn
brought it
straight,
over to Estonia, Ukraine, and America. They refined their act on their own people, which makes
damn
me
straight.
more disgusted, if you could be any more disgusted, in the thug, kleptocracy that Putin, has created. But it's just
Yeah,
and then also let's talk about pay scale. The St. Petersburg trolls, there was so much reporting on the St. Petersburg trolls in 2014 and
Yeah.
2015. Where the fuck was the media? I don't know, in America. But guess what? The St. Petersburg trolls were making more money than tenured professors in Russia.
Mm.
Okay? Kids in Macedonia made more money than the mayor of the town. If you're
Ouch.
in the Philippines, you can make a lot of money and you can feed your family doing this kind of work, and it's advertised everywhere. And I just learned a hot tip today. If you have $1,000, you can go to Upwork and hire anybody to do anything. And there are people in Pakistan who can feed an entire family off of what you can pay them. And so this is the vast trolling underground that I'm starting to excavate more deeply, and I think that our politicians better be listening. Our show today showed that we're headed in a really dark direction if we
yep.
don't get a handle on this.
How did you find out how much they get paid in New York City? Just out of curiosity.
No, but I've been trying to piece that together myself because I was thinking, let's say you were a corporate executive at one point, you get laid off, you got a lot of expenses. It's not going to be a $50,000 a year job. It's
Mhm.
probably going to be more like a $150,000 a year job because the commitment, and here's the other thing, all troll operations everywhere, they're not just running one account. They are doing
No. Oh,
multiple
oh no.
variations of themselves. And so they are in charge of multiple accounts, which is why if you hear somebody online that echoes sounding like another account, more than likely, if it's somebody who's doing nefarious shit online, it's actually the same person or part of the same
Well,
operation.
the real experienced ones will have different personalities, right?
Mm-hmm.
You'll have the one who's over here who's just expressing concern, and then you'll have the one over here who's super angry, and the one who's expressing concern will kind of argue with the super angry one, and they'll go
Right.
around and around for fucking 100 replies, and it's all just to generate negative energy and attention to the target. It's that
Yeah.
simple.
It
Poison the
seems
narrative, right?
I'm
Yeah,
gonna
to enforce. This is like there's sort of a phrase about all this stuff that has really resonated with me, which is enforcing the narrative, right?
Yeah.
yeah,
To
right.
to patrol the boundaries of the narrative that's supposed to that it's their job to put out there, right?
Yeah.
So the story is this way, and some Yahoo goes off the reservation over here. You better go get that motherfucker because the story's over here, guys. Like, go get them.
Yeah.
And it's really, if you think about it that way, it's that simple. It's
Hmm.
like, here's what we want. Here's the direction we're supposed to go. Anyone who goes off course, there's your target.
Makes
Well,
Have
me
fun.
I,
dizzy.
go ahead, Sean.
No, it just makes me dizzy. Just like,
Yeah, I know. It's like a funnel. Oh my
yeah.
God. I know. Sean's little asides are the best part of this show. We gab and then he's like anarchist. Uh, it's just
Got to have a
his,
little chaos.
I love it. So I want to read you guys a line. This is from a former St. Petersburg
Oh,
troll
sorry about
operative.
that phrase, Vaudry. I should have used that phrase. I used off the reservation, which is not a nice, is
Yeah,
an old, stupid thing
right.
that like middle-aged men say because they're dumb. Sorry about that.
So that's what I love about you guys. You just freaking own it. Like my kids have cleaned up my lingo. There's
Yeah.
like one word I begged them to let me keep, and they're just like, nope, 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 nope. So here's
Yeah.
something a former
Yeah.
Saint. Yeah.
Yes, I'm old. I say dumb shit sometimes. I'm sorry.
I just think
We
that
will
should
work
be
on it and we will get better because that's the point of this.
apology should be accepted. That was very sincere.
Aw.
So let me say this line. This is from a St. Petersburg troll operative who now is fighting in her own country to expose this stuff, putting her life at risk and taking videos. She actually took video clips inside the operation. I'm trying to track her down. I don't know if we'll be able to get her on the show or not, but listen to this. She said, information peace is the start of real peace.
Yeah.
Holy shit.
Stop feeding each other
Think about
bullshit.
that. Think about that. Information peace is the start of real peace. Oh my God, that resonated so much. And here's what she also said. And this was back in 2015. Her ultimate goal is to shut down the trolling operation and all trolling operations, believing that its information warfare is contributing to an increasingly dark atmosphere in Russia.
Mm-hmm.
So that was 7 years ago. What
Yeah.
is increasingly dark about the atmosphere in America? Our information fucking war, right?
Yep. Yep. Yep.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's
There you go.
it's Hi-Fi and I were talking about this. It's like, and not to get too like woo-woo, but if you think about the internet as the global consciousness, right? Um, And it really is, right? It's the first time like billions and billions of people have been all networked together at the same time. And you see all this sort of what you call in artificial intelligence emergent behavior. Like it does shit you had no idea it was going to do, right?
Right.
So you think of it as the birth of the global consciousness. We're a fucking toddler, right? We're in
Mm-hmm.
the terrible twos of the global consciousness.
Mm-hmm.
Like
Yeah.
our global consciousness has a fork, right? And
Mm-hmm.
what does a 2-year old do with the fork? It might eat its food, or it
Mm-hmm.
might stab mom because she makes
Mm-hmm.
a funny sound when you do that. Like, right?
Mm-hmm.
It has no idea. It's a sociopath. It just
Yeah.
Yeah.
doesn't have all those cues yet. Or it might take the fork and put it in the fucking light socket, right? Or in the wall socket and kill itself. And I
So,
feel like
yeah.
that's exactly what the internet is right now.
Well,
It's this like blobby wobbly thing that's just stabbing itself and fucking putting it in
Mm-hmm.
walls and stabbing mom, and we got to give it a fucking timeout,
Mm-hmm.
honestly.
even
Yeah.
taking
We got to give it a timeout and let it scream its head off for a little
Yeah.
while, and figure out how to you
even
know
with that idea, Jim, what do you think about what would be the relative age of America, of the United States comparatively to Russia or compared to
How
Spain
about
or
India or China?
even, yeah, exactly. We'd be what, 11 compared to their,
20 years younger, probably, right?
yes.
I actually no. I think we're like 2 and they're like 3 months, right? Like they're still
Mm.
in this sort of
No, no, no.
incubating.
I meant just
What
in
do you
terms
mean?
of the history of the culture and the political organization. So, right.
Mm.
So you have not the internet, politics
Yeah.
and
Oh, okay. Sorry.
the culture. Yeah. So, America is very young compared to, the
Yeah,
Russian,
yeah.
you know what I mean? So we always want
Totally. Right. So our entire like culture, our society is in the terrible twos in a way, right?
exactly and influencing the online behaviors as well.
Yeah. I mean,
Uh-oh.
it's interesting because there's another that we are also, however, I think this is right, the oldest democracy on earth, right?
Yeah.
And the most stable, I mean, so it's interesting, right? Like, yes, we are both extremely young in many ways, like culturally, geopolitically, all that stuff.
Yeah.
But in terms of democracy, we're actually kind of the old man.
Yeah.
I
Or
love when
woman.
Hi-Fi puts his hand up and I try to point to him and it takes me a minute to remember which way is left and which way is right because it's backwards.
Here's one thing, when we talk about technology and its maturity level, there are some people out there who are exceptionally mature in their manipulation of the
Yeah.
internet and its associated technologies.
Yeah.
And with
Oh
that, I'd
yes.
like to bring up, anonymous hacked, what is it, the Rosman
Rosalind.
kids? How do you pronounce that?
I don't know.
I don't know, but it's the authority in Russia that is
Yeah.
responsible for censorship
Mhm.
of media, and they
Yeah.
released like 360,000 files,
Yep.
which was
Yep.
I hope that you
They
a
release
guys,
lot.
everything. Yeah. Usually they only will release them to journalists, researchers types, but they just put the torrent up.
Oh, they just kicked it out there,
it's my hope that the people that were associated with Anonymous who went to work for the Russians were actually double agents and gonna just fuck Putin hard. Somebody needs to make that man scream uncle, and I don't see anyone doing it fast enough. You know,
Well,
uh,
speaking of our democracy, I have a little anagram for the Declaration of Independence.
huh? Oh yeah,
oh,
bust out an anagram,
anagram,
bust it out.
Anagram time.
All right, here we
anagram.
go. Anagrams.
It's time for the lizard
We need
anagram.
anagrams music.
Ready?
Declaration of Independence.
Mm,
Okay.
mm.
Oh, wow.
Whoa,
There you go.
Wow. Wow,
that's
that's
cool.
amazing. That's profound.
It's a nice.
Somebody screenshot for that for me. One of our friends screenshot that for me so I can have that. I love that. That's
That's
amazing.
pretty cool.
Yeah.
That's a
I mean,
positive.
it's idealistic
Yeah.
because you know it wasn't perfect.
That's
Yeah.
okay.
Yeah.
That's okay.
That's okay.
I it's amazing. It's a quite a good one.
Well, do you
I'm
guys want to see?
feeling it's funny like watching our administration sort of figure out that this is different kind of war,
Yeah.
and really kind of to me
You're freezing up.
get its feet. Seems like it was making me feel patriotic today.
Yeah.
You know,
I feel
Thank
Uh,
you,
you.
Marie, for dropping that in the comments. Ross Komnadzor or something. I don't speak Russian.
did you say I have another one, Sean? Uh-oh, did we lose
We already-
Sean?
I have
Didn't
something
we
I want
do
to talk
Putin?
about.
I think we lost Sean. Go
I
ahead.
got some filler.
And we all come back.
Is
Wow.
Heidi here? There's
Sean just
Heidi.
he was like, I want more attention.
We
No,
never
stop
know what
talking.
Sean's gonna do.
That was
Sean
weird.
wanted to be the
He's
focus.
actually
Sean
the
is the focus.
KGB.
Oh, you guys thought I kicked all you
KGB.
guys out, and I was going to have all the fans to myself. Hey, we're just going to do anagrams the whole hour.
Um,
I am Tom Riddle.
Before we get to the next anagram, I want to say something.
Please do.
One of our friends is this delightful middle school teacher who he doesn't like bullies. And there's two things very interesting to me. The worst bully I ever met, I think I told you, I found out the worst troll I'd ever met. He was somebody who was torturing someone close to me and their friend, and this was middle school kids that they were hurting. But it was like, I mean, doxing back in like, I want to say 2004, like just this horrible shit. I went to this conference and I actually met this kid. And he was a miserable fucking 12-year-old from San Francisco who clearly came from a wealthy family. And my guess is he was ignored. That's just my theory. And I never forget this kid because he was writing as if he was like some 30-something-year-old menacing man. And when I found out he was a 12-year-old, I thought, wow, an ignored 12-year-old with an acid tongue like that. So in any case, so this particular friend of our show has a background in middle school bullies. Anyway, he reached out to me because apparently I blocked somebody who considered them a friend of mine. Well, that account that I blocked was somebody who had liked somebody who had done a troll video of one of my fucking best friends. So they could fuck all the way off, because if you're going to like somebody who's hurting my friend, then you're not a friend of mine. So anyway, as I was watching this weaponizing, miserable, toxic brigade pile on my friends, I realized, you know what? I'm going to go back to the source of the very first interview that I did with this particular friend, Jim fucking Stewartson, and I'm going to look at those raw notes. And tonight, after this show, I'm going to publish the raw notes, the very first recorded interview I did with Jim Stewartson, so everybody can see that my friend Jim was right about everything. And this brigade, this sad fucking toxic brigade, can just fuck all the way off. And that's all I want to say about that.
Right. How do you
That's
follow
it.
that up?
Fuck
With an
them
anagram.
haters. Fuck them haters.
With an
So
anagram.
This was going to be.
Anagram.
You got
So I
an
did-
anagram for shut the fuck up? Is that what-
Which
Yeah.
me?
pretty much.
So we did-
Another way to say
We
it.
did the Declaration of Independence. It was nice in theory, right? And then
Yeah.
Right.
you have elections, right?
Mm.
So here we go.
Election results. Whoa.
All right, so that brings up an interesting point. Today in Ohio, Governor DeWine appointed a big lie spreading, supporting, passing along the nonsense appointed her to our board of elections here in Ohio.
DeWine did?
Yep.
Isn't he supposed to be sort of normal-ish?
No, you don't look at what DeWine says. You look at what he does, and he's complicit. And part of that is the First Energy bribery scandal. Their attorneys and people appointed to boards are covering up the fact that they're not releasing information that should be releasable under an FOIA. Yeah. Woohoo! Ohio, the heart of it all.
Wow.
Yeah, man.
Yeah,
Wow.
what the hell, man?
That's
Yeah.
crazy.
It is
I mean, you know
I
that.
didn't say this, but somebody
What?
said it's the armpit of the nation. Like if you make a a shape like this, it's the
Ohio?
shape of Ohio.
I didn't say it.
I didn't say it either.
I mean, it does kind
I
of make
was just
sense,
pointing
rounded
out
on
that
both
somebody else
sides
said
and
that.
high
It
in the
was not
middle.
nice of
Yeah.
them to say that.
All
Ohio.
I know is that Hi-Fi is so Ohio proud. I'm always like,
He's
yo,
an
come to
Ohio.
California, come to California, hang with me and Jim. He's like, nah. He wears
Nope.
his Akron and his Cleveland on his sleeve.
I believe it was Machine Gun Kelly who said it best. He said, "Bitch,
Oh,
I'm
sorry.
from the land."
When did you first interview Jim, Heidi?
I first interviewed, so because most everything on the online world is fake, in my opinion, as Hi-Fi's taught me, everything's an op. I don't really trust anything anymore. I don't trust anybody. I don't believe people are what they say they are. I like to find out for myself. So when I see people doing good work, I try to meet them. I try to have conversations and if possible, meet in person. And that's really something I adopted from Dave Troy, who actually makes a point of meeting people face to face when possible. So I was watching Jim's work and really wanted to meet him. And it turned out that we live in the same area. So I was able to do that. So I think that was probably maybe July. And we first did let's, just meet each other face to face. I'll ask a few questions, kind of, get a feel for him. And we immediately ascertained that we were both old school punks. And there was like a camaraderie immediately. I'm like, no, you played bass. All my best friends are bass players. And all my best friends who are watching this are bass players and they know who they are. And then I asked him a few specific questions and the answers were chilling and they resonated and they sounded so true and they confirmed what Dave Troy had told me. And I had seen the TED talk that he gave with Troy and Hassan. And so then I went back to the editors in the UK I write for, Byline Times, and they said, yeah, go ahead and pursue it. And so I think the interview that we did, the one that I'm going to publish tonight, is July 31st of 2021. So we're coming up on a year. But the reason I want to post the raw is because, all the stuff we're experiencing right now, today, this week, he forecasted in the raw notes. So that's why I'm calling the raw notes raw power.
Oh yeah. Would you have recognized him if you'd have been wearing this? Huh?
What's funny is that what was really nice about meeting Jim the first time was just having somebody who has been through it as I had been through it in 2018, because I've been in this fight a few years longer than you guys, and I have been beat the fuck up over it, and as soon as I described what happened to me in 2018, Jim knew exactly what it was and knew exactly probably
Yes.
who was behind it. And to have that weight lifted off me, like I've got a witness, and that was like kind of the first thing, was just this sort of kind of, it's like, probably how people in combat feel. We have a different kind of combat. Ours is psychological, but it's painful. And mine was online and offline, So anyway, yeah. But it's great because we're writing our own narrative. And as I was listening to you guys today, I can't read the book that we're going to put together at some point because it's going to be dope and very informative.
Yeah.
Just share.
There's a lot of
Probably a
books
few
around.
volumes.
Yeah.
Go ahead, Hi-Fi. What's up, Hi-Fi?
I got two things I got to address from the comments. One
I love
is
he raises his
Wexner.
hand.
Well, it's like what
It's
we were
cute.
trained to do as kids, right? If
It's
you raise your
cute.
hand, I do this in restaurants sometimes too, and it works. Anyway,
Go ahead.
anyway,
do you like bang your glass with the fucking knife?
no, I just
while
put
you-
my hand up. I'm silent, and I just put my hand up. And
Go ahead. Now.
Okay, Ken.
anyway,
Let's go more.
Wexner, Les Wexner. All right, so we know there was a financial relationship between Les Wexner and Jeffrey Epstein. Well, a lot of people don't also know, but I do know because I live here in Ohio, is shortly after that partnership started, Southern Air Transport or Southern Transport Air, which was a CIA-funded airline, started flying into Columbus Airport. And
What?
yeah, and I guess one could say the quality of cocaine in the area went up exponentially.
Wow.
I'll leave it at that.
One could say,
One could say.
ascertain.
Yes.
I have a way.
Okay,
I
sources
have a Les
familiar
thread.
with the situation would say.
Yes.
Is that
Yes.
what's
All right.
going on here?
What are the chances of a chemical attack by Russia? Okay, so this one
Good.
right here, something fucked up is going to happen because Putin is painted into a corner. Period. However, this is
Yeah.
what I will also say: nobody talks about the explosion at the Vector VECTOR
Yeah.
Capital Bioweapons Lab in November of 2019 in Russia.
Yeah.
And actually, I found a anti-MSM subreddit today. So I dropped that in there where they were spreading the Ukrainian bioweapon lab disinformation.
Yeah.
Instant negative response from the trolls. Instant.
Yeah.
Like,
Of course.
Yeah.
and that
Of
is
course.
called baiting. That's how you bait
It's-
trolls.
And you know what they were doing? They were enforcing the narrative.
And you know
Exactly.
what? And you know what
Exactly
hi-fi
they're supposed
is?
to do.
Hi-fi is a master bait.
Oh.
Yeah, no kidding. So
I did not make the
I
dick
wanted
joke.
to-
I did not make
I
the dick
think-
joke.
So I
was
posted
Heidi.
a few things on,
Heidi,
on
10
my
seconds.
Substack
10 seconds.
that I think
Zone.
made Timothy ask that question. What's going on right now?
I got muted. I got a timeout.
Heidi got it.
No,
She
go,
went
go,
the
go,
pedal.
go ahead, Jim. Sorry. I was being silly. It's Rad Pod and Chill, so that's what we do. Go ahead.
So, but seriously, folks,
Yeah.
Putin has the thing that I love about what Biden is doing is they are going ahead and saying stuff like, listen, they might do a chemical or biological attack, and part of the reason they're saying that is because of the propaganda that Putin is putting out.
Yeah.
It's not even intelligence that they're relying on. They're relying on the literal propaganda that is coming out of not only Russia,
Yeah.
but out of their propaganda outlets.
Yeah.
And
Telegram?
also, once China gets involved, then you know it's pretty much what the story is supposed to be. So I've wrote a couple of things about how biolabs are huge in QAnon right now.
Yeah.
Like they've been pushing the shit out of it.
Yeah.
On top of literally saying that actually no, Ukraine needs to be denazified.
Yeah.
Like tens
Right.
of millions of people are getting
Yeah.
fed this shit all day long.
Yeah.
Think about that. Like
You saw,
these
did you see
people,
what?
American citizens, tens of millions of them,
Mhm.
I
believe
saw-
that Ukraine has to be denazified.
Right.
Did you
So-
see what Gal Suburban forwarded to me to give to you last night, Jim? It was all the stuff
Nope.
that you had been seeing in Telegram and in the True Social QAnon stuff all back on Twitter, and she said it's been flooded in like the last 24 hours. So,
Yep.
So
uh,
I was reading about what Putin might do, and they were saying that there's one, that his cyber attacks will escalate exponentially, and he'll start. Well, this is a theory.
because that's what he's good
He'll
at.
start going, yeah, yeah. Well, he can do that, and he'll start going after bigger and bigger targets in the West, right? So he'll go
Yeah.
the energy grid. He'll go after. He can't go after the banks necessarily, but he can go after the petroleum plants to help drive that pressure. I don't
Yeah.
know.
Because they
Look,
money they money laundered in the West and real estate in the West. I have not been worried about the bombs, but exactly what you just said. But as far as the bioweapons, Oleg Deripaska was born in the most toxic, polluted town in all the world because it was a munitions town, and this is the kind of stuff that they do. So, anything that's kind of cheap and dirty, I think it would be surprising if it wasn't done. But
look, I
Unfortunately, military bases are pretty nasty and dirty. Unfortunately, there's a lot
yeah.
of exposure to our troops and things on bases. Very sad.
mhm,
Yeah, Putin is in what I would call I don't know exactly how you call it, a dictatorial frenzy,
mhm,
right? He seems like he is now,
Oh, yeah, that's okay.
frankly, in the place that Hitler was, that
mhm,
Stalin was, that Mussolini was,
It's the flame
where
out.
their ability to reason basically goes out the door, and they become just a sort of their own id, right?
mhm,
And if they're allowed to, they will do whatever it is they are allowed to do.
mhm, mhm,
Period. Straight up.
Yep.
mhm,
And uh, it doesn't matter what the collateral damage is. It's only about the proportional amount of power that they have versus everybody else. If the world is much smaller, that's fine, as long as he has
mhm,
more of it than he has now,
mhm,
right? And that's when you get to the ultimate fascist, like these guys, like
mhm,
both Putin and the guys in America, Flynn and
mhm,
his allies who are supporting it.
mhm,
um, you got to start considering things like nuclear war as really possible,
mhm,
right? And I said on my brand new little podcast, like, the first thing you can't do is panic. Like,
mhm,
there's point, like, panicking in the face of fascism is the worst thing to do. On the other hand, when you have somebody who looks like this guy does right now, who
mhm,
doesn't look like he has any limits at all, you should start thinking about, like, what are the possibilities here, and if something like, I don't know, him really using weapons of mass destruction, whatever they are, in Ukraine, what would that mean here? And is he going to start going after the power grid and the internet and all these things that I need for my life? And if
mhm,
those things go away, what the fuck am I gonna do? Right?
mhm,
Do I have a bag somewhere that if I gotta get the fuck out of Dodge, I can do that? You know?
mhm,
Not saying like build a nuclear fallout shelter, like that's dumb. Doesn't like that doesn't work. Just start thinking about, hey, we're in a real precarious place right now. And
yeah.
Yeah.
I just think it's, and I'm sorry for the monologue, but I just wanted to get that out of my chest.
It's real. Today, when I had a conference call, so I wasn't really sure what was happening, but a city south of me, or somebody was simulating it. For the first time, and since they did a big production, I heard a Cold War era air raid siren repeating and repeating. And apparently, they test these things periodically around 11 a.m., but I could not get any confirmation of it, but I heard it. And I don't know where it was coming from, and I don't know if they were rehearsing. But that these are the times in which we live. But I will say
I
that I
mean,
think
just the
it's
fact that you were worried that that was real.
Yeah.
right?
Well,
Like,
I wasn't imagining it. I know that.
no,
I
I
don't
know,
know.
no,
Yeah.
I of course you weren't
Yeah.
imagining it, but it might have been that they were testing it or whatever.
Mm-hmm.
Like
Mm-hmm.
normally that's what I would think, but
Mm-hmm.
right now that's not what I would think. I'd be like,
Mm-hmm.
fuck,
Yeah.
right?
And I had just
You know?
listened to your very first debut. I'm calling it a radio show because to me it reminds me of like the old school radio shows. I know it's podcast, but I just listened to it and I was like, yeah, where's my bag? Like, put something together.
Sorry.
Some at least some cash. All those things that we say we're going to do and
Yeah,
we
just
don't.
that
Some
basic,
water,
some basic stuff.
basic
Like,
stuff.
and just,
So,
and it's, I think it's helpful to kind of think through those possibilities in a
Hmm.
way that's not like catastrophizing it, right?
Well, it's so funny you mentioned Timothy Snyder when you said that today, because his
Yeah,
little book is right on my bed, and I'm flipping through it, and you're like the first rule is don't panic. Like, you know
do
what I
not
mean?
panic.
Like,
Yeah, absolutely.
okay, the hand is going up.
All right, so you say don't panic. Putin, yeah, thank you, Marie. Putin fired a bunch of generals.
yep.
He's
Oh
panicking.
God.
Well, hopefully that means those generals are going to figure out a way to bum rush him. You know what I
Well,
mean?
that's
Like,
the whole thing, right?
imagine.
Well,
Let's put this out. If
did
this
you
could
see them
somehow get
blowing
to
up
the
that
Russian
fucking column?
people,
Oh my God.
if
Sorry,
this could
sorry.
somehow get to them, if those generals, imagine they could have been shit heels their whole entire life, right? They could have been bigger assholes than Putin. If they take him out right now, they're heroes. So,
You know, it's funny. They won't. Just the same way that fucking Congress could have impeached
yeah,
Trump and been done with the whole fucking thing, right?
yeah,
Like, but they couldn't bring themselves to do it. It was done. It would have been the easiest way for them to move on and go and do their fascism, but they
yeah,
couldn't fucking get out of their own way because the great leader is still the great leader no matter what.
Yep.
But what's
yeah,
interesting is the Russians are getting fucked up right now. Like that column, remember that column?
Hmm.
There's no more column.
Yeah, a
yeah,
whole
The
bunch
column
of it
is
got
not there.
boom, boom.
yeah,
Well, I mean, they went kaboom a lot of it, but most of it just dispersed out
hmm,
into the woods and shit, which is not great, but it's better than a giant 40-mile long fucking column that's just
yeah,
ready to encircle the city. Like they got
right.
fucked up,
It
and
seems
God,
very clear to me that they
Slava
have been.
Ukraina, man, fuck yeah, it
It
was
seems
great.
very clear to me that so much of their military might has been focused on active measures and hybrid warfare. And I
Hmm.
think we're seeing that their priorities were mind effing. I don't know why all of a sudden I'm censoring myself. This is a show where we swear, but I think I sort of maybe hit my limit or something. But to me, it seems very clear that their areas of expertise profoundly have been in the hybrid part of this.
Yeah. High five. Go.
And on that note, I'd like to say congratulations to Ukrainian farmers for becoming the seventh biggest army in the world. Good job.
Wow, that's amazing. That's
Flynn the fifth. Oh my God, thank you, Jane Doe.
Flynn
Thanks.
pled the fifth. Of course he did.
You big
oh
fucking
wow,
wuss.
yeah. Well, what's he going to say? Yeah, I'm owned by Putin, or yes, I love Putin, or yes, I'm a racist, so I believe
You
in.
guilty ass
Yeah.
Q motherfucker.
All
All right.
right, since
Damn it.
we're supposed to be doing a show rehash, right?
Okay, but before we
Yeah.
do
Can we
that, I
talk
want to
about
say,
Bootsy? I want to talk about Boozy real
right,
fast.
hold that thought, because I do want to say
Holding.
something before it escapes my brain. I didn't have COVID, but sometimes I feel like COVID fog. I want to just blame it on long COVID. Uh,
That's fair.
no, see, I've already forgotten. No, I have not. I want everybody that we can reach, everybody tell their friends. I need people to get offline more, and this is myself too, and find the candidate that you want to work for, that you want to go into your community for, or the candidates that you want to canvass for, phone bank for. Figure out who in your community is going to make your community better, and be the person who's not on Twitter all the time. Come back and tell us about it. Let your Twitter community know, but get in the trenches, find a campaign, sign on to that campaign, and get busy in the streets, because the CNP has been doing this now for 18 months already, paying people to do this type of work, and we're seeing the manifestation of that. We're seeing convoys and school board crap and anti-mask crap and whatever else. So there's so many more good people in this great country, and please, everybody, find your candidate, join a campaign, and go, save our democracy come November. Okay.
And as we
Yeah, listen,
get into
if they get in there, we're fucked.
Mm-hmm.
They cannot get in there. Sorry, Sean. Go.
oh, it's all right.
Sorry.
I was going to transition to Boozy and
Yeah, it's transition to boozy.
Our
I
way
like
of-
that.
Good.
I like transitioning to boozy.
do you want to take this away?
Christopher Boozy bought Sentinel. He rules. What we're going to show you, though,
He
is
was
very
so
serious, and I want you to listen to it very seriously. This is a serious freaking clip. This is the end game of trolling. Boozy knows. He came on our show. We had huge numbers on our podcast. He's been exposing the single-purpose hate machine and the profitability of that toward Meghan Markle, and it's coming for his family. We all are facing it, and please listen, because this is the seriousness of it.
And understanding, like, okay, a lot of these accounts are not bots; they're human-controlled accounts, whether they are out of St. Petersburg somewhere, or whether they're in someone's basement in Georgia. It didn't matter. They were human-controlled accounts, and we needed to account for that. But like I said, over time, it morphed because we started realizing a lot of these accounts were doing what we've been discussing. They were not just putting out misinformation or disinformation. They were targeting people. Their sole purpose were, to pretty much make people either want to leave social media, make people want to commit suicide. I mean, and I know that sounds like it's extreme.
That's true.
Oh,
We know it. We know it.
I mean,
It's true.
But this is what they're trying to do.
He taught me the phrase "single-purpose hate account."
Yep.
It's been amazing.
Yeah.
Well,
So technical terms people should know is single purpose hate account. Absolutely. SPHA. A single user multiple account is called a SUMA in social media language. And that a lot of trolls are single user multiple accounts. You also have what we have in Q, which is a MUSA, which is multiple users single account. So those are technical terms you can use to understand the.
Well, what that clip went on to say, and I encourage everyone to watch the episode because it's really important. His work is very important. And go to his website, botsentinel.com, and read the reports. He wisely condenses his reports to like 9 pages, 12 pages, not 200 pages. It's very, he does a brilliant job of just getting the essence of all the really pertinent things. But in that clip, he went on to say that he believes that these single purpose hate accounts and this machine is trying to get her to kill herself, Meghan Markle. This is what he's saying. And I got to say, there was a K-pop star, I think last year, I think it was last year, a beautiful young girl who got trolled so hard she killed herself. I think that you guys know of examples of people who got trolled so hard that they have. So this isn't cute. And where are our laws, Jim and Hi-Fi and Sean? Where are they?
They're way.
They don't exist. They don't exist.
They're way behind.
And we were talking about the terrible twos of the global consciousness, right?
The judiciary
it's because
back.
that's
very
its
difficult.
example.
Whenever so bringing this type of issue up in trial or in a case, you have to educate the judge. Typically, you have to educate his, whoever's working with the judge, his assistants, and generally you're going to get major pushback from the defense or whichever side you're on. There was a case in Monsanto. There was an attorney in San Francisco doing Monsanto cases. and there was he thought, and this happens. I've seen these documents that this happens. They were geofencing the jurors. So when the jurors were arriving at the courthouse, they would start getting messaging pro Monsanto, anti activists. And
Mm.
so and I've read his motion, and it was just terrible. So the attorney himself didn't understand quite how to explain it to the judge. So then the judge read it, and the judge was like, "This is no different than if they were picketing out front of the courthouse." And it's much different than that, but it wasn't explained well. So there's a whole lot of work to do, uh, educating the judges all the way down the line before any sort of litigation or anything's going to stick
Jesus.
in
I
trial.
mean, we don't have time.
Yeah,
Like,
I know. And
what more of a body
it's
count do we need?
picketing, like, no, it's not picketing. It's like you're in a meeting at work and
Yep.
15 people come in and start screaming that you're a pedophile.
Yeah,
Like, it's not the same thing
No, it's
that's
not.
as
right.
picketing
But
outside on the public street.
right.
It's a
Jim, do you
different thing.
remember when that account that's no longer on Twitter was calling you a pedophile and a felon?
Yeah,
That,
I do.
that ain't cute. You know what I mean? That ain't cute.
Yeah, it's funny how all the resistors decided to team up with him.
Yeah.
Oh, I know. I know.
So there's
I want to know who is protecting these accounts because
Oh no.
everybody I know who is actually sane, and I'm not talking just about the ones designated to our team, but the same repeat offenders year after year get reported all day long by people. Uh-oh, is this subliminal, Sean, right now?
Uh-oh.
FBI. Federal Bureau of Investigation. Oh my God, I'm so excited. Is it the lizard? Oh,
Oh Jesus.
no,
Oh
no,
my God.
no, no,
Wow.
no. One of my dear friends is a director of special projects for the FBI. No, that didn't just happen. We'll cut it in
Jesus.
post. Oh wait, we're live.
Oh wait, we're live.
yeah.
Cut it in post, Connor.
That's who's listening.
Oh,
I do think there
speaking of
are.
that guy, Heidi, we have to follow up.
Oh yeah, I actually have been in touch with his office, by the way.
Oh good.
Yeah,
Oh good.
yeah,
Oh
because
good.
this girl is going to be rocking a freaking campaign. So
Yes.
yes, that's
I'm
all
gonna
I'm
go talk
gonna.
to Canada tomorrow.
Yeah.
Oh,
Nice. To the country,
You're gonna talk to
just gonna
like
talk,
the whole thing?
go right up to the border.
Like a million of them or something. I don't know. Whatever this person's reach is. They're a former radio, uh, former radio DJ, but they want to talk to me about the Give Send Go stuff. So
nice.
Word, what is it? Fucking promo that shit. What's wrong with you?
Yeah.
High fives.
High five.
Hi.
I'm embarrassed. No, it's a fellow named Dean Blundell, Blundell.
Like Joan Blondell, but Dean Blundell. You guys don't know who Joan Blondell is, unfortunately.
No idea what. No.
No
Sorry,
idea.
that one.
If you were a 30s pre-code cinephile like moi, you would know. That's okay.
I don't even know what that meant. So
How many of those are there?
No, you know what? You've seen Cagney's Public Enemy, probably, right? There was a very brief period of time in the very early 30s, late 20s, but really, really early 30s, where you could say anything, write about anything. There was like real stories, there were single
yeah,
moms.
before the pre-censorship code, you mean?
It was yes, exactly
but
that.
they went
Pre-Hays
apeshit for a
Code.
little while.
I seen
Well, the
pictures
thing is, all the
and-
best stuff was that brief period, and then right around mid 1934, they started to institute, the code, and so what happened is writers had to be even smarter and more crafty to still tell the true stories. But suddenly the bad guys became the cops, but the cops weren't necessarily dirty, but they might have some dirty, alliances with some street thugs. Oh, it was so good. It was so good. Hollywood still ruled. They ruled hard in the 30s.
rabbit
Yeah,
hole.
40s. Is hi-fi frozen on a plume of smoke?
Nope.
That'd be
Nope.
cool.
Nope, that's
That's
just you.
Oh,
Yep.
yeah. I know. My wonky interwebs, plaster walls.
Yep.
Um, you guys saw that Ida Lupino clip that I showed you, though, when she goes batshit crazy in a Humphrey Bogart George Raft film called They Drive by
It was the
Midnight, right?
doors. The
Oh,
doors.
you know what? Yeah, I don't know, man. People, I don't know how they keep all the various grifts together. Like, that's got to be hard, you know? So,
all the
I,
LARPs
I
together.
know. How do you do it?
Like keeping your story straight across fucking years and years and all these different LARPs, you know? Like
Yeah.
What do they, yeah. Tweet deck. What do they use? I don't know.
it's no wonder people make such terrible mistakes.
All I
Just
know
saying.
is I just was listening
Bad
to you guys
Photoshop.
today for that hour, and I'm proud of you. I'm proud of this show. I'm proud of the information. And you know what I'm really proud of? Our guests. Our guests that we have
Very
had
good.
on this show, some in particular, all of them are dope, but there's even one in particular who is doing some serious, serious good work, and we can't talk about it, but hats off to our guests and the good work that they are doing, trying to stave off the authoritarian capture of our beautiful country.
And
It
I'm
is
here to announce
beautiful.
that my next two guests will be Heidi Kuda and Sean Connor in that order. So
What?
FYI,
I'm
everyone.
so excited.
I'm
You've been voluntold. Sorry.
I'm
Hey,
I'm
can we have a
thrilled.
hint for who our next guest is? Are they an
Oh,
author
no, I'm going to
or
promote the hell out of this. This is the first time we're having somebody return, and it's
First
very
repeat guest.
specific why. We're bringing back Martin Scheel and his 3G. He is our IRS criminal investigator, retired.
Yes.
He is going to walk us through, he's going to slow walk us through all of the domestic and Russian oligarch connections, because Martin Scheel follows the shells. And we're going to find out why the arrest in London of Jack Hannock, former Fox News director, building a media pro-Putin media empire with a sanctioned oligarch, why that arrest is so pivotal and all the tentacles that it connects to.
Yep.
So if that's not a tease, I don't know what is. IRS guy is going to follow the money.
Hi. What's up, Hi-Fi?
7 billionaires got nailed for 19 billion in the UK today?
And you saw that they're sanctioning Deripaska and Abramovich.
Yep.
Yeah. What if? Like, let's act as if this is all going to have a happy ending. What do you say, boys? What do you say?
Sure. Yeah.
Aside from the
Look,
nuke thing, fingers crossed, you know?
aside from the nukes and the like WMDs and all those things, look, here's the thing. Vladimir Putin's not going to stop. So the only fucking way we're going to get out of this alive is if we get rid of him.
Yeah.
Somehow he's got to get rid. He has got to get.
He's got to get going.
rid.
In the words
Somehow.
of Mahatma Gandhi, a very peaceful, beautiful man, it's inevitable. That was paraphrasing, but it's inevitable.
You know, I don't have any specific ideas right now, but
I do.
maybe
I
the
do.
fucking government of the United States of America does. I don't know. I hope they do.
Hey,
Joe, call me. I can handle this.
yeah. Hey, Joe, we're proud of you, man. We're
Don't
proud
call
of
him.
you. There's
call
not
him.
a person on this show who did not vote for you and Kamala, and we are proud of you guys. Hey, my daughter's DJ
doesn't-
set starts in 30 minutes. I mean, 30 seconds. What were you going to say, Jim?
Nothing. Not at all.
No, have the last
people
word.
vote for. No, just vote for whoever you want. Just vote. Just like vote for fucking democracy.
Yeah.
Whatever it is.
Yeah.
Little
Right.
D. I don't
We got-
give a
we got-
shit.
We got one left, Heidi.
Let's do it.
Department of Homeland Security. All right. Here we go.
Reptile.
Mm.
Oh.
Then there's Here's another
Sean
Dun,
and
dun,
Connor.
one. All
dun.
right, here we go. Ready?
That is incredible.
Here it is.
Jeez.
Wow. Ooh!
Ouch! Ow!
On the next Rad Pod and
Oh,
Chill, I will tell you my Rumsfeld story, and it includes the word aspartame. We'll get to that another time.
Love you guys. See you later.
I love you more.
Bye.
Bye.
We still here?
Great
Good.
show, people.
Thank you
That was
so
awesome.
much. Thank you.
That was
Later,
really fun.
dude.
Love you.
Bye.